Hey, welcome back to my Java tutorials. In this video, I will talk about method overloading in Java. This one is also called as polymorphism, compile time polymorphism, and static polymorphism. Now let's understand what is polymorphism. Polymorphism means creating many methods with the same name, but the difference is number of arguments or type of arguments. Let us understand and discuss more about this polymorphism while writing the code. Public void add. Let us create one more method. Public void add. Let's try one more method. Public void add. Look, the compiler here throwing error saying the method is already defined. So what we will do here, we will change the arguments. Here let's take integer arguments. Let's take here float arguments. Now look, it's not showing any error. Let us consider here also something different. String. Let's say string. System.out.println n1 plus n2. Here system.out.println f1 plus f2. System.out.println s1 plus s2. So far we created three methods. Method name is the same. And number of arguments also same, because here two arguments, but the difference is here type of arguments. In my next example, I'll talk about this number of arguments in detail. Once after creating these methods, second step is calling methods. For calling methods, first we need to create object, class name obj equal to new class name, open and closing parenthesis and semicolon. Now let's call the first one. Look, as soon as you enter dots, it displays all these three methods. First one is integer type, and second one is float type, and third one is string type. Which method are you calling? So let's say string type. The next thing is you have to provide arguments. Let's see hello. Still the error is there because here we provided two parameters, so we have to give the two arguments here. Look, now everything is clear. Let us call one more method, for example float. Now let us add float value 2.5f. Just give some value 3.4f. The last one is about method which having integer. Just type any two arguments. That's it. Save the code and run. The first one is hello everyone, and the second one is addition of two float numbers, and the third one is addition of two integer. This concept is called as polymorphism. So we can add more methods with the same name, but only thing is you have to change type of arguments or number of arguments. That's it. Hey, welcome back to my Java tutorials. In this video, I will talk about method overloading in Java. This one is also called as polymorphism, compile time polymorphism, and static polymorphism. In my last video, we discussed about what is polymorphism and have seen one example. In this example, we will see polymorphism concept in perspective of number of arguments. We already know polymorphism means creating many methods with the same name, but only the difference is type of arguments or number of arguments. The example here I am going to show is print natural numbers from 1 to 10 without any arguments. And the second method is print natural numbers from 10 to 20 with only one argument. And the third method is print natural numbers from 20 to 30 with 2 arguments. Let's create these 3 methods now. Public void display. As soon as you create the same method again, it immediately throws the error saying that display is already defined. So the first method, we don't have any arguments, but we have to print natural numbers, right? Let's do that. For iterating, we use loops here, starting from 1 and ending is 10. So I is greater than or equal to 10 condition. Then we need increment operator, system.out.println I. Just for time being, I'm just changing this one. So the first one is printing numbers from 1 to 10 without having any argument. So the next one is you have to pass one argument. Let's say int x. And here also we need for loop int I equal to 1. I is greater than or equal to x. I plus plus is the increment. System.out.println I. Let's do one thing. Let's comment out this method and execute the first one, bj.display. Save the code and run. You can see natural numbers from 1 to 10. Let's move on for the next one. In the first one, we are giving the number as a condition. In the second method, we have taken an argument as a condition. That is the only difference. Now call the next method, obj.display int x, where you have to give the number as 20. Save the code and run. You got from 1 to 20. First one is 1 to 10 and second one is 1 to 20. So what we want exactly? We want to print from 10 to 20, right? So the number going to be, we have to start the 10 onwards. That's it. Let's run the code and see. Look, you will get from 10 to 20. This is the second method and this one is the first method. So you got it now. The first one is like without any argument and the second one is we have only one argument. If you understand these two, the third one is very simple. Just we need to give two arguments. Then let's write a loop here for int I equal to n1. This is a starting point. n1 is greater than or equal to n2. This is the condition. n1 plus plus. This is the increment operator. System.out.println n1. So here this is initialized with the first argument, then checks with the next argument, then first argument going to be increased, print n1. So while calling, you have to provide the two arguments. Look, the error is saying expected two arguments. So provide the two arguments, that's it. Starting from 20 to 30. Save the code and run it. Up to this one is the first method. Until 20 is the second method. After 20, this is the third method. So here we created three methods with the same name, but the difference is number of arguments. We don't have any argument. In the second method, we have only one argument, and third one, we have two arguments. Hey guys, welcome back to my Java tutorials video. In this video, I will talk about one example of method overloading concept, which is calculating area of the square, rectangle, and circle, and basically dealing with method overloading concept and difference between number and type of argument concepts. Let's get started. First, I created a class method overloading. Let's create a method for calculation of area of square. Next one is calculation of area of rectangle. And third one is calculation of area of circle. As per the requirement, I created three methods. The first one is public void calculate area. I just want the same method, rest of the stuff also. So if you give the same method name, the compiler immediately throws the error saying that it is already defined. So in that case, what you need to do, you have to change the number of arguments or type of arguments. Let's say here int a. So now this method having integer type of argument. Immediately the error is gone. This one is, we need two arguments. So we know area of the square is a into a, and area of the rectangle is a into b. That's the reason I am taking here two arguments. The area of the circle here is pi r square. Here I am taking instead of r a here. So this one is pi r square. I am just writing like this. In this method also we need just a. When you enter a, it immediately throws the error because this one having the same argument and this one having the same argument. In that case, you can change this one to float. Then you are good. Like that, you have to deal with the method overloading concept. You can still create the same methods, but only thing is you have to change number of arguments, type of arguments. So here one argument we have. In this example, we have two arguments. In this example, we have only one argument, but the difference between first and third one is type of arguments. First one is the integer and the third one is the float. And rest of the stuff is same. Now let's go ahead and finish the methods. Int area of square equals to, I'm just writing formula here, a into a. Let's print system.out.println. Area of the square is area of the square. Let's copy these two lines so that I can reduce the writing of the code. Area of the rectangle. This is the variable here. Area of the rectangle is a into b and rectangle. That's it. This method is done. Now let's finish this one also. This one I'll type it for you instead of copying. Why I am copying some of the code, why I am typing some of the code means it should be handy for you guys. That's the reason I am trying to do in different ways. Let's take float data type here because here we have the float. Area of circle 3.14f into a into a. In the statement, area of the circle is area of the circle. So method creation is done. Now let's call those methods here. For calling methods, we need object, right? Let's create object now. Obj new class name, and let's call those methods. First one is calculate area. We need to have only one integer. Let's print 5. Let's take 5. Obj dot, then call the next method. That one is for float 5.0f. We give the float like this, then it considers as integer. That's the reason you have to specifically give this number because this is for third method. Calculate area of the circle. Next, let's say two values. This goes to the second method. Look, we are not specifically saying which method you need to call, but the type of inputs we are giving, it automatically picks the method and calculate the rest of the stuff. Our job is we have to give right inputs. Let's save the code and run. Right here we will get area of the square, circle and rectangle. Suppose this one is for square, right? If you forgot to give the float number, what it happens? Instead of calculating area of the circle, this calculates area of the square. That's where you should be very cautious while giving the inputs. That's all for today tutorial, guys. I hope you understand method overloading concept very well. See you in my next video. Stay tuned and happy learning.